Hey, what's up guys? Okay, so to build the calculator, the first thing we're going to need to do is build out the UI for it. So that's what we're going to do in this video. So I've just opened up a blank app. Got nothing in it, it's just a scaffold. And so I'm just going to start off by adding a background color of deep purple, strength like 100. And in the body, let's add a column. And let's add 2 expanded widgets. And on the second second expanded widget, I want to add a flex of 2, which basically just means, if I show you here, the bottom side I want it to be like twice as large as the top. So on the top we'll display the input and the output, so the question and the answer, and down here we'll display like a grid of buttons that we can press. Okay, so in this container we're going to add a bunch of buttons. So I'm going to create a new file. I'm just going to call it buttons.dart, and in here we can create our button that we're going to reuse. Okay, so we're going to import our material design, and let's create a stateless widget, and I'm just going to call it my button. Okay, this button is going to be made up of 3 different variables. So let's say final color, final text color, final string, button text, and then let's build a constructor. So this dot color, this dot text color, this dot button text. Okay, so yeah, these are the 3 things. So the color is going to be the color of the button, text color is the color of the text, and button text is the numbers like 0 through 9 and the operators as well. Okay, so the look I want to go for is like a rounded container. So to do that, we're going to use this widget here, clip-rect, which just basically stands for like rounded rectangle. And we can add a border radius of, let's say 20. And in the container, the color of the container is going to be this color that I passed through. And the child is going to be in the middle of the container. And that child is going to be a text widget, and it's going to be this button text that I passed through, like when I create the button. And in the style, where I can edit the text, I'm going to pass through this text color. So color is equal to text color there. Okay, and I think I've used everything. Yeah. Okay, cool. So we've built our button. So in our container, in the lower half, what I'm going to do is, first of all, let's just test to see if our button is working. So center child is my button, and let's fill this out. So colors dot deep purple, text color, colors dot white, and button text is a string, so I'm going to pass 0. Cool, okay, sweet, so there's our button. Now, one thing I'm going to adjust on the button class is let's add a padding of 8. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, so that's going to come in handy when we have a bunch of buttons stacked together. Okay, so this is just one button. Now we're going to need to build a lot more than this. So I'm going to use a grid view builder. And basically, if I come up here, okay, so let's build a final list of strings called buttons. And how am I going to lay this out? Okay, so basically I'm going to have all the buttons that I want just laid out in a list of strings, and I'm going to use a grid view builder to cycle through this list and build as many buttons as we need. Okay, so we can automate that process. Okay, so the first button I want is clear, and then I want delete, and then I want percent, and then divide, and let's go with 4 buttons on each row. Okay, so whoops. So I'm going to say 9, 8, 7, 6. Actually, I don't want this to be 6. I want this to be times. This is 6, 5, 4, minus 3, 2, 1, plus 0, decimal point, answer, and last one is equal sign. Okay, sweet. So I just wrote it out like this so it's easier for us to visualize how the buttons are going to be laid out. Okay, but it's just going to look like this. Okay, starting from 0, 1, 2, 3, all the way to this last guy with 4 in each row. Okay, so if we come back down here, this button, we're going to create a grid view builder. Okay, and in the grid delegate, we're going to add sliver grid delegate. I want the one with this one here. There it is, with fixed cross-axis count. And the cross-axis count we're going to specify to be 4. So that just means we're going to have 4 in each row, and then it's going to drop to the next row. Item builder. Okay, so build context with an index. So we're going to return the button here. Whoops. Button text. In here, let's say, so this is where we're going to cycle through the list of buttons. So I'm going to say buttons index. Okay, so the index here is going to cycle from 0 to however many buttons we're going to build, which I should actually specify here. Item count. I want there to be however many buttons I've got. Buttons.length. Okay, so however many is up here. Okay, so what is this one? Okay, so button text is going to be, it's going to be the numbers up there, and then color, let's say colors deep purple, and text color white. Okay, so if we save that, sweet, there it is, just a nice quick way to build a grid of numbers. Okay, so that didn't take many lines of code at all. So pretty much done, but I'm just going to clean this up a little and change these numbers to a bit lighter of a color. And these operators will just keep darker. Okay, so one way we're going to do that is I'm just going to create a quick method down here and say boolean is operator and pass through a string. And basically if this string is equal to a percent sign or a divide sign or a times or a minus or a plus and and an equals. If it's any one of these, let's return true, and otherwise just return false. Okay, so why did I just build this method? So when I build the grid, if any of the numbers, the buttons, are operators, then we're going to use the darker colors like it is currently, and if it's not, I'm just going to change it to a different color. Okay, so when I return here, I'm going to say, is operator, and I'm going to pass through a string, and that's going to be just this string here. So if this, depending on what this is, if it's an operator, let's leave it as purple, and if not, and if not, let's make this shade of 50. Okay, and same logic over here. For the text color, let's make this white, and this one just deep purple. Okay, and sweet, there it is, the desired effect that I wanted. Okay, so just these operators, we'll just keep dark purple and these ones white. Pretty much done. Now the last thing is I just want to change this clear and delete button. So clear, I want it to be green, and delete, let's make it red. Now I could do a similar way, like a similar method to this by making a couple more methods, like is operators, but for clear and delete. But since it's just one button of each, I'm going to use a if statement and say if the index is 0, then do something, else if the index is equal to 1, do something, and else return this button. So basically what I did is index starting from 0 to 1, that's basically I'm just checking for this 0 and 1. So if it's clear, that's 0, if it's delete, that's 1. So if it's clear, I'm going to return this button, and let's get rid of all this crap, and just return, wait, this one's clear, right? So green. And over here, we want to delete all this, make it white. And similarly for this one, we want red because it's delete. And I think that's it. Okay, let's save it. And there it is. Sweet. Okay. So yep, that's just the UI for the calculator. In the next following videos, let's focus on the functionality of it. We'll make these buttons tappable with gesture detectors and display them up here as we tap them. Alright, sweet. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thanks.